did they have, maybe they didn't have maybe the site was not
Oh, you know what,
activated.
There's the
sorry,
signature
next
page.
one. Okay, the next tab, the protocol signature page, we found the missing FD.
Wow. You're one of those monitors. Everything's a problem.
Yeah.
Even if it's not, it's a problem.
No, wait, we didn't find it.
You
No, we
didn't?
didn't.
We found
So-
it,
No,
but,
no, no,
but
no.
it's the protocol original copy,
It's missing.
signature page not
That is
found.
different from the protocol. So the protocol is missing the original copy, but it contains amendment 1.
We found it in the
Protocol.
1572 tab, the original protocol.
So what if the site was initiated after their amendment 1 was already released?
Okay.
So then they don't need the original one.
Oh, really?
So you have to look at the dates.
Oh, okay.
You have to see. And how would you check the dates? Let's say you're a new monitor that took over,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like how would you know? How would you confirm that?
They should have
Protocol amendment?
the protocol, the summary. So whatever changes, they should have like a summary that says what has changed. And for my people, the sponsorship let me know.
Summary of changes.
Yeah. Summary.
Yeah. So, but if look, if the site gets initiated on August 23rd, okay,
Okay.
but the protocol amendment 1 was released like August or July 23rd, then that amendment 1 is the original protocol for that site's right binder.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Now some sponsors would want them to have the very first
I
one,
see.
but you see, they're not trained on that one. They're trained on
Okay,
the
the
new
most
one.
recent
Oh, the
one.
amendment.
So how would you confirm if it's correct, or if you're just guessing?
The previous CRA better document that in the report. What protocol number
Right.
was trained? They were
Right.
trained on.
But how would you confirm if let's say this amendment 1, that's the only one that's in the right binder, right?
Right.
So how would you know if the original the original protocol before the amendment needs to be in the reg binder?
that's what I was about to ask, because with the red binder, it listed what is supposed to be in every slide,
Yeah.
in every page.
And every
And
time.
on that page, it actually said to have the original and any amended copy.
Okay, so if that's the case, then the original needs to be in there.
Okay. Yeah, because it did list it out.
But sometimes, if the site's been trained on amendment 1 from SIV, that for that site, that is the
The
original.
original, okay.
Now, but sometimes the sponsors will have them put the previous version of the protocol in there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So then if that's the case, then you have to ask the site. But how would you confirm if they're using the right amendment? You would check with the date of the
Yeah.
SIV and the date of the amendment.
Actually, the day of in the training log too, you will
Yes.
find out.
In the training
log.
They don't have that listed on the protocol, right?
That one?
What version they should have on the protocol?
Yeah, you gotta know what's the current version, and then what's the version, all the versions the site had since SIV.
It should be listed on the protocol, right?
No, no, because the protocol won't know if there's a future amendment.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is
Like there might be an
something that,
amendment 2, this one doesn't know, this protocol's not gonna have anything about that.
So the date, and probably the CRA or the sponsor you work for should tell you this is what is current now,
And what is required to be.
Yeah.
based on the meters.
Yeah. You should see the dates, and then you'll know the date of the SIV, and you'll know the date of all the protocols, even the original, the amendment, and you'll know which protocols, versions the site needed to be trained on. Because if they're missing any training, you don't have to train them on the original protocol
Yeah.
if they were SIV trained on the amendment.
Mhm.
Okay, but in many cases it just needs to be filed.
Mhm.
In some cases it doesn't. I've seen it where the original protocol, if the site was activated after amendment 1, then they don't need the original protocol.
I believe that's hers.
But sometimes they do, but the training they don't.
Yeah,
They need the
because
training
during the
starts
most
from this.
recent, okay.
And then if the new protocol comes out, there's a new training. Usually it's a new ICF that the
Okay.
subjects need to take care of, all that stuff.
Okay.
What else you guys found?
Okay, so when we looked at the protocol signature page, we noticed that it was missing the original signature, but I guess no, it was missing the original, but then we found it in the Form FDA tab. So I guess misfiled. It's
Oh,
been
you
filed
found the
properly
original signature
in
page
a different tab.
for the amendment one?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So then, so you found the signature page, alright. And what do you do if you find something that's misfiled?
Well, I mean, if you want to, we can move it, or if you don't wanna, you wanna avoid all that, you can call the coordinator to move it themselves.
Yeah.
Or you leave a sticky note for that.
What do
Sticky
you
note.
normally do?
I read in my report, I don't move it, but I put a
Okay.
sticky note.
Yeah.
And then, because what if I made a mistake, you know, just like when
Exactly.
you're busy, maybe you think something's right, but it's not right.
Okay.
But even if it's something simple like that, maybe there's a reason, so I just put a sticky, I write in my comments, and then it will be an action item.
Okay.
Or your strategy is probably better, if you wanna reduce the action items, bring the coordinator and say, hey, is there a reason why it's here?
Yeah,
And they'll say, no, I'm gonna move it,
okay,
and then it's fixed at that point.
okay.
Yeah, I have a question. Like in this industry, I've seen a situation in which I audit an organization, and it is restrictive for me to make corrective action right there on site. So is it allowed in the industry to reduce action items by immediate corrective measures on site?
You're not allowed to alter any document.
Yeah, not document, right?
No.
Like to reduce. Okay, I have actions items that needs to be attended to by
By the site.
the site.
Yeah.
Now, is it allowed to reduce those action items by asking the coordinator to fix it right there while I'm
Yes.
there, or I should just still leave it open so that I can put it?
Have them fix it.
It
Yeah.
depends on what they can fix.
But you can still write in your report, I had a coordinator, CRA had a
Yeah.
coordinator. You can still
Exactly.
describe in the comments.
Right,
That's why the
You can
comment
define.
section is really good.
makes sense.
But it doesn't have to
That's
make the
fine.
action items, it's just in the comment.
Exactly.
It's better because then, your lead CRA will see what you were actually doing, the
Doing.
sponsor will see what you were doing.
Right,
They won't assume that it was perfect
perfect.
before you got there. So yeah, that's a very good question, actually. I actually deal with that a lot.
Cool.
That's why the comments are good. The comment section is like, that's the part where because remember, the FDA audits these reports now.
Mm.
You know,
Oh, the CRA reports?
yeah,
Yeah.
the FDA audits the CRA reports, and if they find that the CRA didn't, like, let's say the FDA later, they audit the study, okay, and then they find deviations. They're gonna look at the CRA reports and try to see if was this ever discussed, was the sponsor aware, and usually it's in there, right? But if it's not, then they come back to the sponsor and say, hey, you didn't have oversight over your CRAs. Because the sponsor is supposed to review every report
Yeah,
after you submit it, and then there's revisions, there's comments, questions, you revise it, and then a finalized report goes in the TMF, Trial Master File, which is right up your alley with all the technology stuff. And database manager.
Probably. Okay, so
Yeah.
the only report that the site receives is the SIV report.
That's correct.
Okay.
Did you see that one in there? The SIV report in the red
Mhm.
binder? So that's a very good one. So the only monitoring report the site ever gets is the SIV report in the red binder. No other report. What they get is the follow-up letters. And I don't know why that is, but that's how it's usually is the case.
And in those follow-up letters, you have to put an action item if any, like pending / action item in follow-up, okay.
Yes, any action item, once it's approved by the sponsor, because sometimes the sponsor said, no, this is not an action item, or this is not a deviation, or maybe you missed one, and they said this should be an action item. You go back and forth, and you revise the report as the CRA.
You know, I actually have a question. So I've had a friend, just discussion, I have friends that do the CRA. So my question is, the follow-up letter, is it due before the visit report? Or is it due
No,
with the visit report?
no.
Because I think I had a friend who had a situation where I know she was just venting to me. And it was more of, oh, they want me turning in my follow-up letter with the visit report.
With
then
the
it's-
visit
yeah,
report, that's not okay.
Yeah, so she's like, why would I need you to approve the report before I can move over the action item to the, but yeah.
So they wanted your
her-
friend to send the follow-up letter
Both.
to the site?
Not the site, like her people,
Oh.
her PM,
Okay.
like her PM people. And she was like, wait, why are they changing things?
Well, that's
such a
different.
business?
I mean, yeah, technically they can ask for that, but it's usually, that's not the process. It's
Yeah.
confirmation letter, IMV report, then it gets finalized, and then you draft your follow-up letter.
I don't think so.
That's how I do it, but the CROs are allowed to do that as long as the site is not getting
Oh, yeah.
the
no,
follow-up
no.
letter until it's approved.
Yeah, I think she was just stressed out.
So now
They're just making that work more.
those reports need to approve before you can release your action item to the site.
Yeah. Yeah, because you
Yeah.
could make a mistake, or you could have missed something, or you could have put
That's
something
right.
that's really not supposed to be there. So it's ultimately the sponsor's study, and that's why now the sponsor before the GCP revision in 2016, they rarely looked at these things. They just let the CRO say, hey, you guys are experts with monitoring, take care of it.
I see.
And the FDA said, no, you can't do that, because when the audits came and the FDA went to the sponsor said, hey, the CRO's in charge of that, we don't know. So now the FDA say you can't do that anymore. You are responsible for the study. So now this is where they're checking CVs. Just because you get hired as a CRO doesn't mean the sponsor's going to want you to monitor their study. You get hired by COBA, okay? You get put on a study with Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly has to approve the CRAs too.
Mm.
So a lot of people who lie on their resumes, not you guys, but like real liars, like using someone else's identity, and that's their CV now. Okay, they may get hired because CROs want to hire like a bunch of people. Well, the sponsor, if they start looking at these reports and they're like, hey, who is this person? Let me see their CV, and then they'll call them in for an interview, and it turns out the person doesn't know anything. It happens a lot. I just had a call like a month ago with somebody who was in that situation with oncology. Yeah, and they were like, oh, the sponsor wants to interview me now. And I was like, did you do any monitoring visits? She's like, yeah, one report, but they never gave it back to me. So that means that what she did on her report was like,
Yeah.
who knows what was on there. You can't fake it, those things.
Yeah.
Maybe in the past you could, because the sponsor didn't read it.
Whoa.
Only your line manager
Yeah.
did. And okay, maybe they make the corrections for you, so they don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe they hired you and they're like, oh, this person doesn't know what they're doing. I have to work with them extra now.
Yeah.
But they don't want to make themselves look bad because they hired you. So they'll like end up training you. But now it doesn't really happen anymore. Sometimes the CRO, your lead CRA, will read your report
Right.
before they send it to the sponsor, so that they don't get like these kind of situations where the CRA is just clearly not qualified. And so they'll look at it first. But in this person's case, who called me
Is
about
this
a month ago, this is what happened.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got fired?
I didn't follow up with her. I asked her to buy my book.
Damn.
I'm serious.
The best book in the world.
Yeah.
What else can I do?
That's the best you
Oh
can
my
I can't
God,
go
that's so
interview them
funny.
with them for you.
Oh, really?
She wanted me to give her like what to say, and I was like, how do I know what they're gonna ask you?
Right.
Could be a million things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like saying, what am I gonna ask you tomorrow? You know, I don't know. How do you know?
Yeah.
So you gotta know this stuff. You guys are in good shape because you're having the experience.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem, but with these people
You
that
remember my last thing, like video interview with you? It's
really?
Yeah, at Sabadell, you know, like that short caption.
Oh yeah.
That I mentioned
yeah.
it. You can't just read stuff. You need
Thank
to.
you for that. That was
Yeah.
really good.
You cannot just read stuff. You have to.
How long have you been in this internship?
He's been in this internship for a year.
Yeah.
And,
Oh my God.
it just started.
Yeah.
Were you guys in the same class?
Yeah.
You know, I came back.
You were in the same class though, right?
Yeah, we were in the same class,
What
yeah.
class was that? July?
July.
No.
Oh, you're in the
April.
cohort.
Yeah. Go on.
April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
April,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's good. No, he was there last,
Okay.
yeah, he was there a few times.
So that's what most people do. Just feel you can just read stuff. I think it's here it's changing. For some years back, you can actually maneuver and find a way.
You can
but-
completely fake it, but you can go, instead of like 2 years or more, you can do like a year or less now.
Yeah.
That's not the important. The important thing is, do you know like enough to where, with minimal supervision, the sponsor will think it's adequate
Really quite.
report. That's really what they want from their
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
That's all they want.
See, that's what they want, but that's not what they go out looking for.
No, of course not.
See,
Of course not.
They
I mean,
make it
but you have to
so
settle
hard.
for reality. You know, I want to go out and look for like, you know, $5 million homes, but I gotta put it with reality. You know, the market tells you what you can do.
Right.
You can look for anything you want.
Like it's so hard because I see people with 10 years experience. Like, come on.
No, that's
man.
crazy, and especially in this market, that's
Senior,
not.
senior.
Look, when the economy turns and it's gonna eventually go, it's cyclical, right?
Okay.
Then they'll be picky, and then you'll be right.
Right.
But it's very good now.
Right.
You need to get in
Yeah,
now.
no, yeah.
It's gonna be a problem for like
Job
April
application tomorrow.
2023 students, maybe 2024. Who knows?
Mhm.
Eventually, it's gonna be a problem. We're gonna be like, you have to be a coordinator,
Yeah.
you know. But right now, you can go do data management. That's really good. Even like in-house CRA, even maybe even regular CRA, because you have that coordinator background. What else do you guys find?
Oh, okay.
Any problem? Is the site good?
Oh, we
Or not
have.
good?
It's
How
a
is
good
Kobe?
site.
How-
I love
how is
Kobe.
Kobe?
I
He
think
is
it's
very.
Huh?
It's good
He
guy.
is
You
very
know this stuff.
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
You know this stuff, yeah.
Maybe one day I'll come here as a CRA and come.
Oh my God.
Come
We meet
Actually,
today.
you know this
We're
stuff.
gonna go to StarCraft.
You see,
I know, right? Yes.
you know this
Extremely
stuff.
hard.
Kobe
Yeah,
was
they're
saying,
You know, it's,
when is she coming
you know, when
outside?
somebody is giving you an information that is not genuine, you
Yeah.
can feel it.
Yeah.
But like, it's not, you think about something before you start saying it. It just
Kobe and Monica are really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
When Kobe knows I'm coming outside, he'll take off and be like, Monica, please. Deal with that.
But you know what? Both of them, they're really good. But both of them were entry level, no research background at all, and they both did our own CRA Academy. They were students like you. Like they were. We put them in the class. Yeah, we put
He
them
told
in
us
the
you made
class.
it really hard. It was not easy to get a job.
No, we made it hard. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't even want to hire him.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Ah.
But you hire for potential at a site
Yeah.
because you don't have the budget to have an experienced coordinator, so you have to hire for potential. Most sites, you know, and then you groom them. So we got Monica. She started recruiting patients. We're like, hey, join. You go in our class. They get in for free, but you go in our class. You're gonna, just like everyone else. If you fail,
Yeah.
we're not gonna take you. You have to keep interning.
Mm.
You know, and then they do it, and then it's just the beginning. Then they have to start doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's you know, their entry started with 0 experience.
Yeah. Oh, I hope to come back this year with good news. And
Yeah, you can be our monitor.
Then guess what? I have a job now.
Your CV looks really good. We can introduce you to.
Everybody.
Yeah, I told you the one guy in Dallas is starting his
Okay.
8 sites. There.
Okay.
I'll introduce you guys.
Please.
But what else you find? What else?
Okay,
So
so
just SIV amendments,
oh,
training
no.
log.
Okay, so the IB, the investigation
Yeah,
brochure,
investigator brochure.
the safer interview procedure, is that supposed to be out there?
What is it?
Safer? SAFER? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Safer?
SUSER.
No,
No.
SAFER.
The interview procedure.
Interview procedure.
Oh, that's for this depression, right?
Is that supposed to be
That's a
in
rating
the IB?
scale. IB or directions for use. No, the investigator brochure is just about the drug.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that is misfiled.
Okay, see? That's another misfiling. That sounds like a rating scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
it
is
is.
actually.
Rating scale. What section of the rig binder would that be in?
I
I don't even know, but
It should.
We didn't have all the other ones. We
Yeah,
didn't
it's at the
have
back.
They have it somewhere there.
Like probably because the another thing is like a lab manual, which nobody ever uses, but they're in there, right? Like a lab manual, and then lab manuals have different versions too. So you got to make sure the site's using the most recent version.
Oh, we didn't look at the version.
Yeah, nobody looks at those, but they're there.
Yeah.
It's more a regulatory thing because every lab is pretty much the same.
Yeah. Okay,
In
so
the middle
the,
something?
Yeah.
Sorry. You guys want lunch?
Kobe, come here for the camera. They were just talking about you.
Right.
They said you do very good and that you should do more YouTubes.
Should I do more YouTube videos?
Yeah.
You know he had a YouTube channel or has?
what do you do
I just need to
there?
upload more
Yeah, he needs to
clinical
upload
research
more.
videos. Yeah.
What do you have there?
I intended it to be like a coordinating type of thing, like on a day-to-day type of basis, so you guys can actually see.
It's good. He did a few ones that
Helping
were
people
good.
out there.
Well, I mean,
That's
because Dan
good.
has everything else, just like research, like just like
Oh, he
everything
did
research
it. He did
based.
it. He did
So-
like a bunch of them already.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
because
You can have a new one for our event
Yeah.
when you present.
I'm actually gonna bring it. Yeah.
Good.
Because you're gonna have yours too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Finn's gonna have
You
hers.
put it on yours.
Yeah, so it's gonna have all our perspectives.
And make a vlog about it too.
It's gonna be fun. So yeah, I need to put more coordinating adventures up.
Okay.
Let's see, how long did it take you to be like competent in research? Like, cause you started you were like 6 months intern, right?
Like 4.5, 5.
4.5? So how long it took you to be like, you know what, I may not be like a great coordinator, but I'm
Like
decent.
getting the hang of it.
I'm decent.
So that whole interning period, and then probably like 3 months after that.
So 7 months.
Yeah,
Into the job. Okay.
yeah. But I mean, that's just because I like to see the bigger pictures and like every component in it. So I mean,
And he had Monica who like goes like one by one with
Yeah.
him on all the stuff.
on everything.
That's
So
awesome.
Yeah.
yeah. But I like to see where everything fits in, the parts. So like that's why I was always looking at your drawings and everything, because like every day it would just make sense. Like
Oh yeah,
little
when
by
I
little.
used to do this
Yeah.
a lot,
You
yeah,
want
yeah.
some?
It's good. We're gonna get more YouTube videos from Kobe.
Yeah, you will.
Okay,
This
the
for you, by the way, I
package
forgot.
Oh,
insert,
thank you.
the package insert,
Okay, package
is
insert
empty.
for the IP. So that's the IP, the investigator brochure.
The beef dip or double dip?
Is that part of it?
Yeah,
Oh, that's what it is?
because the IP is a extended
Okay.
package.
Exactly.
It's just a beef dip, but just a double.
So where are you seeing this stuff?
They have a tab
It's-
called the
oh,
package
okay.
insert and
Yeah.
it's empty.
Yeah.
And so the form 1572,
And then,
we were gonna question Dan to see what his role is in the study.
I have a roll.
I'm
Because-
sorry, blessing. You said homemade or German?
No, Caesar salad.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Yeah, because we saw a
Sure.
priori
Study. And this study, I have a roll.
For which one?
The MDD.
because the delegation of duty log says you are the sub-I, one of the sub-I.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
you're the
find you
sub-I.
as finance director. or
I'm a
something.
sub-by.
That's why you put
Yeah.
finance something.
Yeah, you're always a sub-I for most of the
But
stuff.
then the FDA, the
FDF?
1572, he listed as a sub-I?
It was listed.
He was,
Others.
okay, you were listed as a
Others.
sub-I,
Others.
his listed as a sub-I, Monica's listed as a sub-I.
Okay.
How many sub-Is do we have in the study?
I don't know. You get
No, they weren't listed as sub.
They are,
Yeah.
they are.
But they
in the
put
form.
others and they put their role there.
No, not delegation
No,
law.
not delegation.
We're talking about form 1572.
1572.
Yeah. So
Everybody is
the
listed.
CRA just told us the main people who are involved and who do the day-to-day activities and stuff like that can be considered the sub-Is.
What?
And so she just said
Is
put them
that
on. And
Yeah,
so
so
we did.
now they're having coordinators
Yeah.
as sub-bys on most studies.
So
Yeah.
So a study typically has anywhere from 1 to, I've seen 100 sub-Is. And if you go to universities, they have like 100. And it's really hard to monitor those sites because they change a lot. And then you have to track all the, if someone's taken off this, if someone's added to this form, that triggers a lot of other forms, right? You were already getting into some of them.
CVs, license.
CV, GCP, license, but even
FDF.
more so, FDF, training,
Yeah,
the biggest one,
Yeah.
right? FDF, so it's a lot of maintenance for CRAs
Oh my God.
when that, on the more sub-Is.
1572.
Yeah, and then when sub-Is leave, what should the PI do when a sub-I leaves?
that you redo or something and
Yeah,
say that there's a
new-
change.
It's on the
in
board, one of the things, if sub-I leaves,
A new delegation law.
not new,
The
same one,
revised,
same one, end date.
the end date, sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the delegation log.
The delegation.
Okay, so see, the 1572 have all of you listed as a sub-I, but the delegation log have just you and James as a sub-I, and then him and Monica as a study coordinator.
It's good.
Oh,
You have to
Is it
look at the
great?
numbers on the delegation log, 1, 2, 3, to see all the duties.
yeah.
Right? But, so when, interview question, right?
Mm-hmm.
When, so delegation log have start and end date for every person. When are the start dates put on there? It's on the board also.
SIB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. You don't have to raise your hand though.
I was thinking.
SIV.
Yeah,
That's
the
right.
cycle,
I was
that's
thinking
right.
that.
And that's when everything starts, right?
Yes, and at the SIV is really the only time the CRA has to train the staff.
Right.
Okay, at IMVs, you can if you have time, or if the sponsor tells you, hey, I need you to, when you go next time, train them on
On
this.
this day.
Okay, then you have to do it. But at IMVs, you can leave training as action item for the site to train.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but if you have time, you do it, or if the sponsor. But at SAV, you don't have the option. That's why you're going there.
That's the main purpose for this.
That's the main purpose. And then to start the delegation log. Okay, and then the PI, after the training, the PI then delegates whomever was there, start date. If that person was not there for the training, they can't have that start date.
No.
They have to get a training, and then the start date needs to be the date of the training.
Training.
Okay.
Very important, and they're gonna ask you these, well, they may ask you this.
Okay, also, we noticed that the form itself, it has an expiration date of February 28th of this year.
What form? Which one?
The form 1572.
Oh, okay.
The pr-
On
you
the
know,
bottom?
no,
No,
the
on the
printed
top
form
right.
at the right hand corner where you have the expiry date for official documentations. So the form is actually expired before administration.
Exactly, so the
Ah.
form expired February 28th, but then it was signed March 25th.
The form expired,
Yeah, it's an expired form that was actually
That was used.
That was used.
because the 1572s don't really expire.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
No, it's kind
it
of
It's
said, it
expired.
said form expired,
The form
and it had the
expired,
date,
yeah.
I don't know.
So maybe that's a sponsor-specific thing,
Yeah.
that they want that done maybe once a year, which is something new. Was there a, oh, there was no monitoring letters, right? Because we haven't had any other than the SIV. So the 1572 has an expiration date on the top.
Right.
It actually says expiration date. Okay, so then this sponsor wants them revised.
This month is really.
Actually,
I'm telling you, this is
the
the sponsors
IRB,
monitoring this one.
the IRB, no, it's a different one.
I
Or
see.
does it say
What are you talking
IRB
about?
approval date?
No.
No,
It
it's
says-
1572 form.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a new one. That's a first for me. I've never heard of that 1572 expiring. So I'm gonna talk to Monica about that. Maybe she doesn't know either. Did you ask Kobe?
No.
We're gonna
You're the
find out.
person we're
This is
speaking
good.
to.
You guys are looking at that. Most studies do. I've never seen that before. Expiration date. But that's another thing. If that's a sponsor-specific thing,
Yeah.
maybe that's in the sponsor's SOPs. That's the every year or every 2 years, this form will expire. You have to use the new form. Was it a 2-page form or a 3-page?
3.
Yeah, I think it was about 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it had the front, and
Yeah.
then the back had the state, like the duties of the I said
Yeah,
IP
because
of
the
the
new
PI.
1572s have 3 pages.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
That's the
next, the CVs and the licenses are missing for
No
everybody.
Ah, for everybody.
The
Everybody.
PI, CV.
Not good.
Everybody.
So we will give this report to Kobe. You will give a follow-up letter. You guys will all send a
Yeah.
follow-up letter. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you the
Like
template.
Kobe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll give you a template of a follow-up letter and you send it. Yeah.
Which is
IMV
like,
follow-up.
we'll let the other CRA do it. If she noticed anything,
That's
and then
right. You
let us
guys are
know.
better than her. I'm gonna tell her. Hey, look at what students found.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a question. So the FDF, we noticed that there were too many forms. But then what we noticed was, like, on one of them have this doctor, and then the next time the doctor's not there. But it seems like every time somebody leaves or is removed from the study, everybody have to fill out a new FDA. Wait,
Huh?
was it the FDA of the 1572?
No, financial
No,
disclosure.
that's the
FDF.
FDF, yeah.
Financial disclosures for
Never
everyone
mind,
on box
never mind.
6
Yeah.
of that 1572.
Oh no, that was just James.
So the FDF for the doctors that are no longer in the study, you still have to retain their FDF?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they don't have an end date on delegation log, you need to either have an end date,
And maintain
retroactive, late entry, a recent note to file why it's late.
Okay.
But yeah, if they have an ongoing on the delegation log with no end date, even if the site says they're no longer here, like you need to either have an end date with an explanation when on the delegation log, or you need that FDF for every sub-by.
Okay, then you just said something about having number 6 and.
Yeah, box 6 of the
Box 6.
1572.
Oh, okay. Because it was just James that had the box 6 on there.
Ah, okay, I'm not on there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. It was just
I
James.
missed this whole conversation. Sorry, I was reading that question.
Yeah,
You know
box
how they
6
have
of 1572.
like they give you the delegation log and you have like from 1 to 25?
Mhm.
It was just James that had number 6, everybody else didn't have number
No,
6.
no. In box 6
That's
of the
one.
1572.
So you're talking about delegation law?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
so
I'm
that's
talking
a
about
different-
every sub-by on the 1572. In box 6 is listed who.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the 1572 form has
Oh, to
different
say
boxes.
who is the
Boxes,
person you're filling? Wait.
Yeah, like section 1 is the name,
Mhm.
then the address. By the time you get to box 6, it's the sub-bys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they have all
So
of you.
whoever's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And everybody there has to have a FDF.
FDF.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, please, if you're not a provider, can you please not put your name here?
Yeah. I mean, you can
End up having
recommend.
100 FDFs.
You can recommend that, but if the site says it's our SOP to put, then you have to respect that. As long as the sponsor doesn't have a problem with it.
Because I'm like, why would you have a study coordinator as a sub?
That's usually the case now for the last like
Wow.
5 years maybe. When I started, that was not the case.
Yeah.
And somewhere around 2014, I noticed that they were asking that for coordinators too.
Yeah.
But again, every sponsor's different. Every
Different,
sponsor. Like this sponsor has expiration date on the 1572. I've never seen that. Never
Okay.
seen that. You didn't see that in the other study, right? Over
Did
there
you
in
pay
San
attention to
Bernardino.
the other one? I don't think we paid attention.
I don't think there was. There's another study here we could look at. I don't think they have it there.
Okay.
We could look at the schizophrenia reg binder and see if
Okay, and
that's
see
the
if it's
case.
the same. Okay.
When Kobe comes back,
Wow, okay.
ask him. But seriously, take note of all the action items and send him a letter.
Okay. Okay, so the next one is the IRB. Well, they have a tab for the IRB approvals, and then they have a tab for the IRB submission. The approval, because we noticed that, what was expired? Everything was expired.
The approval was expired, but
What's
Well,
expired? IRB
um,
approval.
I have approval.
Yeah, for
I have
literally everything except the continuing review period.
Okay, so that's still active?
Yeah, everything else has expired, like the rating scales, all of that.
The CSSRS and
Everything
Those
else.
have
literally.
expiration dates on them
Yeah.
too? So this sponsor's putting expiration dates on rating scales.
Yeah, so now, because we asked Kobe, and he said, yeah, that you guys already submitted, like, request for it to be over like a month ago or something, and it's still pending. So now the question is, okay, the IRB approval tab, why is there no receipt of that submission
I was
to
saying.
show
Like
that,
an
okay, we
email?
actually,
Yeah.
like, we
Yeah,
done this.
so you should, that's
So that
fine.
is missing.
Yeah, that's a good
Okay.
one. Sites should always print their documentation
Evidence of
of email
receipt,
receipts.
yeah.
Yes, that should be in your letter too. Because if someone said they did it, doesn't mean it was
I'm
done.
not sending this email. Kobe be like, this is the longest follow-up letter ever.
Have Mayowa do it, he's only gonna go to
You
San
can do
Bernardino.
it.
I don't like it.
Please do it. Okay, the ICF is missing the original for both of them, so there are two ICFs, but we only saw version 2.
Yeah.
So
for
version
consent
1
form,
or
yeah.
whatever, the version before that is not there for both of them. So the pregnancy and the actual consent.
So version 2 ICF
So they have version
approval
2.
is there, but version 1 is missing.
Yeah.
So again, it's this thing, right? But you have to
Yeah.
look. If this, well, look at the date of when this was approved. Okay, if this was approved after the SIV,
It was.
it was?
Mhm.
Okay, then we are missing
Yeah,
version
because
1.
that was approved like in April.
Yeah.
And then that
Okay.
was done in October.
October.
So then you need version 1 too.
So, yeah,
And
so
those are
that-
easy for the site to get. They can just print it from the IRB
Oh.
portal.
Oh, you can go there?
The site can,
Oh.
yeah. And the CRA can too, most of the time.
Okay.
But that's an action item, you need to put it there. This
And
is
then
great.
The next tab, the IRB submission, we found the IRB approval for the continuing review period. So we said that that was misfiled. So that needs to be in the IRB approval tab. And that is
Continuing
the
review?
submission.
When is the IRB approval gonna expire now for
Next
this?
year, something 2020. I can't remember what
Okay,
month.
April
next
2020.
year. Okay, and also in the IRB submission, we found the member list, the roster list.
Yes, IRB roster.
That should be filed in the IRB compliance document tab.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember, every sponsor has different names for these tabs. It's not uniform.
Yeah, because I was like, why do they have so many?
Some of
why
them will
can't
be
it just
IRB
all
correspondence, some have actual tab IRB roster, some have, like you said, all IRB, everything.
Okay.
So that's something you're gonna learn protocol to protocol,
Okay.
how they organize the reg binder.
Okay, next one, the monitoring tab. The visit log was written in blue pen.
That's okay, that's okay.
Oh, because the instructions
But it
said
says
it should be
black
written in.
pen.
Oh, if it says it, then
Yeah.
it's not a It
Yes.
says it?
Yeah, this one said black pen.
See, this sponsor is strict. And the monitor wrote in blue.
Exactly.
And it says black.
Yeah.
Well, that's action item for the CRA. That's
Okay.
unreal.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both original, like signed by the CRA?
Yeah.
So they probably sent two? I don't know why they would.
He said sometimes he prints up stuff and then sometimes Monica prints up the same
Oh,
thing.
okay. So if they're both printed out, yeah. You can put a sticky on it and say this is extra.
Duplicate.
Yeah,
Okay.
please
No,
shred.
he said sometimes he has duplicate, one for the CRA and one for the binder. I don't know.
Unless they keep them somewhere else, but
Peter,
that's
Peter, can
usually
you
not
get me a
necessary.
pen then? The pen is done.
They usually email those things. They usually
Okay.
email those things.
Okay, so next
Doesn't
one.
work anymore.
In the site training document tab, we found the site signature and delegation log. So that is misfiled because there's actually a tab called site signature and delegation, whatever log tab. So that should be filed there.
We're gonna have the new interns refile all these things.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, needs to be filed properly. So next one is the EDC document tab, and that is blank. But all the certificates should be filed, wait, no. All certs are filed in site document tab, needs to be filed properly. Okay, so the EDC document should have the training log for the EDC itself, but that wasn't put in that tab, it was put in a different tab.
So there's a separate training for EDC,
Mhm, the
like a
inform-
certificate, right?
Mhm.
Right?
And they're not there?
It's
You'll
in
find
a
it in the
different tab,
training
the
log.
site document training tab.
Oh,
But in
okay.
this tab, it specifically said the EDC
EDC,
training log. and-
So it's there, it's just misfiled.
Misfiled.
A lot of this is misfiled.
So when you do that in your report, you'll just put stickies on all those things and say, like when there's a lot, say
Yeah.
CRA found numerous misfilings in the
Uh-huh.
regulatory binder. Some examples are, and you put like 3.
Okay, and then they should go back and find the rest.
Yeah, and you left stickies on the rest.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But like your first report, if this is your first, you want to be as detailed as you can, and then the sponsor will eventually tell you, hey, like that's what they told me.
Okay.
Do it like this in the future.
Oh,
I
okay.
see.
But
Okay.
if the more detail you are in the beginning, the better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
And-
usually how they'll tell you later.
And then the laboratory document tab contains an ECG tracing report of an actual patient, a subject. Why?
They had to do a test of the ECG before SIV. The site needs to do a test ECG. It's usually on one of the staff members, and then you test it. Send a test transmission to make sure everything's working properly.
So it's not necessarily
Is
the
this
one
supposed
pound,
to
it's not
be-
for the patient, it's for, it might be the test.
It's probably the test one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they have to do that.
Is it supposed to be in the
One
lab document section? it
It's
ain't
always
really-
different, so I don't know for this study where it should be.
Yeah, I don't know either.
There's
Okay.
usually a section like for laboratories, it could go in there. Like if like someplace where it would make sense to be.
I don't think we saw anything for the.
Well, that, I mean, like the
No,
ERT though.
If there's a section for ERT,
I
then
can't
it should go in
remember.
there.
I think we had the ERT certification and that.
Because that's the vendor for ECG, so they might ask you, that one right
Maybe
there.
correspondence.
They
or
might ask
something.
you, well, you've done the studies with ECGs, which of ECG vendor did you use?
Okay.
You need to know
Yeah,
your.
because that lab
Yeah.
section specifically said lab manual train, whatever thingy
Yeah,
pertaining to lab. Okay.
that's good. So remember that ERT, that's the ECG vendor.
ECG.
They're gonna expect you to know.
Okay, so we found numerous forms in the safety correspondence tab, and those forms were supposed to be filed in the IP forms and faxes tab. It was too many to read out.
So misfilings in the
Yeah,
reminder.
misfilings.
And you'll find a lot of this in the beginning of any study,
Okay.
because in this case, the CRA hasn't come.
Oh,
And so they usually have their own preference. And like by IMV 5, 6, 7, this become less of an issue, hopefully,
Oh,
the
yeah.
misfile. There'll be other issues because there's going to be so much data to review.
Okay, and then the last tab is a miscellaneous tab, and it contains a lot of documents that we feel like we're supposed to be filed in one of the tabs.
Yeah.
Like for example, they have the master packing list receipt, that should have been filed in the lab document section. And
Yeah.
some other training certifications as well.
Misfiling. So in my first report at IMV1, which is what you did essentially, I would have it detailed
Oh,
and
this
then
one. Okay.
let the sponsor, have you condense it if they want. But
Right.
for the first one, it's good to be detailed.
So would this be an IMV1 even if a remote monitoring visit was conducted?
Yeah.
Oh.
If it's IMV, it's IMV. And you were not remote, you were here.
Well, they already did a remote
remote
monitoring
monitoring.
visit on this study.
Oh, they did one?
Yeah, remote here.
And it says she was here, but she
No,
went
no,
back
no.
and did it remote.
Through
No,
the
she was
ESOR.
here for the SIV. Remote monitoring, she was not here in person, it was remote.
Oh, so they did do a remote monitoring.
RMB, yeah.
But in your case, it
One,
would be
okay.
one. I mean, so let's say she did that remote visit and then you took over from her,
Yeah.
then it would be IMV too.
Oh, okay.
To answer your
Okay,
question.
yeah.
if you took over,
Yeah.
but this is my person.
Yes, it's just the exercise.
Awesome. Okay, and that was all our findings.
Well, what else? So what did you find the most odd about this study? Probably section 1 or 2. I think section 1.
Talk about the staff and facilities.
No, let me see, the first page? The first one? What's there? What is it?
Right here.
Oh, that cool.
Yeah,
No, you mean the projector, the sub-status?
Which one?
The first page, right here.
Status,
you don't
Oh,
find that
excuse
odd? You
Yeah.
don't find the numbers odd?
No, we actually asked our copy,
Okay.
so before we make the estimate. So it said average of 2 to 3 per month.
no, we actually read
No,
that in
he
the
said
protocol.
about
Okay,
20
yeah, exactly.
projected per site, but then the protocol, well, in the report, SIV report, the salary noted that, they said what, 2 to 3
2 to
per
3
month?
month.
Per
Okay.
month.
And
Then we did our own estimate, like 5, just to
and then at
break
least
back with
6
what
random
Kobe
months.
said. So,
But what did you put? I see there.
20.
So, but not the
Approximate.
estimates, the actual number.
15 was screened,
screen
Screen.
15.
And
or enrolled, or however you want.
Enrolled is 0.
Well,
Wait, so that should have been 12 then? Because remember he explained to us
Oh,
that
yeah,
it was
that he actually
duplicate
had
and then
himself
he used
and-
himself.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then, so
That
12,
would be 12.
12 screen,
Yeah.
including today.
whatever was on the system, because we looked at it today.
Okay. And then.
No, this was follow-up visit. You got 12.
Oh, no, sorry, yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, yes.
Including yesterday?
Mhm.
12.
Okay. And then how many randomized?
We didn't do
Nothing, zero.
Ah, rather odd,
One discontinued.
Yeah.
is it?
They said the,
That's unusual.
No, he said until
the
the
sponsor is really picky.
That's
Yeah.
right, but so for the purpose of like so when you see like that many screen and that many screen fail, okay, like this study is very difficult. They're expecting a 90% screen fail rate.
Mm.
Okay, and most sites are around the same numbers as we have. But let's say that wasn't the case. Okay, let's pretend like it's a different study. But you're seeing the same numbers. So what would you do at the site? What would you do? Let's say another site, like the average site, screens 12 and enrolls like 8. And this one screens 12 and enrolls 0. What would you do as a CRA?
Look at the inclusion criteria, inclusion, exclusion, to make sure they're actually doing it
Doing the
properly.
screening.
right.
They're not screen failing inappropriately.
Yeah.
Maybe they are not switching
Look
the
at the reasons why.
inclusion exclusion criteria.
But what if they're doing all that properly? But that's a good answer. That's good. For interview purpose, that's good. But what if they're doing that? All that's good, but it seems like none of them that they're bringing in qualify.
Yeah, you have to. I CRA, maybe I need to put in a report for the sponsor to
Wow.
to know.
Don't tell me where
Maybe you are too restrictive in our conditions for
Is it a study
for
population?
recruiting.
Oh, yeah.
One of them had a big dip.
So yeah, this is what they're gonna ask. If you're gonna have to deal with this certain times.
Oh, where are they recruiting from? To
Where are you
see,
recruiting
the
from?
study population to see.
Yeah, where are you recruiting from? Maybe sharing best practices of what other sites are doing. Or maybe you're right, the first thing you said, maybe they're misunderstanding the inclusion exclusion. Or maybe they're not pre-screening the right people.
Oh yeah.
You want to find out what the problem is.
Yeah.
But if they're an outlier like that,
Quinoa.
you want to kind of give like, they're eventually going to have, I mean, the sponsor's going to want you to look at those things that you mentioned, the IE criteria, and then they're going to want you to look at, okay, well, what is their pre-screening method? Maybe they're pre-screening the wrong people.
Do we keep this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can write that down.
Yeah, you have to write your follow-up letter with that too. Let's not forget. So
Well,
that, I
now,
bring that up because
during
that's
the
odd.
pre-screening period, the same condition was used, right?
Right, but maybe there's an issue with who, like the process.
Oh, you got
So maybe it's the PI is not finding the patients.
the right patient.
It's like an assistant, and they're just giving you, the staff, random people without looking at the IE criteria.
Exactly.
So you want to make sure, hey, don't waste time. Make sure that they qualify when you pre-screen properly.
So is that looking at the right study population?
Yes.
At least.
For this study, we're okay because we're like average, maybe a little worse than average.
But
Until we get one, then we're average.
if I may ask, why would a sponsor expect above 90% screen fail? Because you just mentioned.
Did you not see that exclusion?
Like he had
Pretty
a
much it
lot
says
of,
if you have black eyes, you're excluded.
like he had a listed psycho, like he doesn't want anybody on,
No, is it intentional or what?
Yeah.
yeah.
This is what is a big problem with the industry, is they are cherry picking patients that don't really exist in the real world to have good data.
Yeah.
It's unrealistic, and the FDA, the FDA approves of the study, but they're cherry picking. So the patients that qualify, they're like, okay, these are gonna be patients we can actually study and see if this responds to them. If they respond on this, then it's a good sign. The studies are getting more complex, not less.
Right.
So this is gonna be like a norm.
Oh, in the future, moving forward.
Yeah.
It makes it easy on the CRA.
Then I asked a question.
A little bit.
I asked.
Until they don't need you.
I never thought about that before.
You
I don't
gotta
have
think
a
about
job
that
for you
part.
to go inside. Like, wait,
Hey, Blessing, you don't have to go. You know, that site's never gonna randomize someone.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
for your
never-
time.
I never-
if they miraculously enroll one, I'll go myself. That's what I would say if I was the
Is that
lead
possible?
CRA or the
I
sponsor.
see.
Yeah.
Why do I need to train you?
Right.
Like what?
Yeah.
I'll just do it myself. They're not gonna screen. They're not gonna randomize anyways. But studies are getting more and more complex.
So have you ever worked directly for a sponsor as a CRA?
And then you make.
No. No. But I've done co-monitoring visit with a sponsor. My first monitoring visit was with a sponsor co-monitoring me.
You take a little.
But they were really cool.
Mix it with.
They were really cool. They're Korean companies. They're really cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. That was nice. We went to lunch and like talked business. But it was good opportunity.
Do we talk to Julie to see if she can send us names of companies to look into?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said.
I think she was
Are you
sending
kidding?
a couple
No,
of
like the
contracts.
name of the
opportunities. Okay,
companies.
this
Like,
one, company
what she normally does is if there's any job opening, she
Oh,
sends that.
yeah.
Yeah, but talk to every of those, even if you're not qualified for that job.
Exactly, that's what
Talk
we're
to
trying to
them
do.
because it's the recruiter.
Right.
So you say, hey, I got your info.
Yeah.
I know you're hiring for this, but I'm looking for,
I like mine.
or what all other openings do you have? This is my CV.
Yeah, so I did.
Because you just
I
want
did
those
a couple of
conversations.
that. I did that with a couple of recruiters on LinkedIn, and they never replied to
Of
me.
course not. You need like 100. And data management for you is the way to go.
Peppers, one of the jalapenos.
Yeah.
I'm trying everything.
Data
Data management, CRA, whatever.
I have
like
to see
this.
your CV to tell you what
I
I
need
do.
Yeah,
to, I need to get.
And then yours too, but I already know like the RN thing. Or LPN
No,
here.
yeah, no.
RN in Nigeria or where?
Oh,
Or in
set.
England?
Yep.
RN in
Your lunch is there
England?
whenever you get a
Oh,
coffee.
thank
You
you.
come from Nigeria, right?
Yes, Nigeria.
Yeah. Yeah. So for you, it would probably be like study coordinator or like an in-house CRA.
So
That's your first job.
even if it's
That's
been
your
working
first.
as with his LVN, but as a clinical supervisor for years now, and actually doing the clinical work, that doesn't count?
It counts.
Because he
It
got
counts.
that one in America and he's working in the
It
RN,
counts.
You know what I mean? So,
It counts. You have to lead with your strengths. Like I think you'd be perfect for a study coordinator right now. And then that's like your footstep to CRA. Or maybe in-house CRA and then CRA. Or like a trauma master file specialist. But you have good interaction with patients, so I'm thinking like coordinator is the best for you. I really think. It's the same thing you're already doing, except you're going to be doing it with research.
Kobe.
so what's
And
the
from that, you go to
difference
CRA.
between a CRA and a CRA nurse? Because I've seen positions where it says CRA nurse
It's not
versus.
It's just that you're a nurse, like you're an RN. That's why I was excited when you said RN,
Oh, okay.
because it's like right away you'll get hired. You don't even need the class. It helps to have it, but you don't need it. But with foreign trained RN, it's still better than not, for sure. It's worth trying CRA route for you, but I think you're more likely to find success quickly as a coordinator. If it depends what you want. If you're willing to be patient, maybe you can wait for CRA role, or if you just want to get started now and then
Yeah.
transition later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do, but that's your decision to make.
I can be
So who are the
referring to-
in-house
Of
CRA?
course you can. All of you guys can.
The
Oh,
in-house,
doesn't have to
what's
be
that?
data management.
In-house CRA they help the CRAs with filings. So when you, like let's say you're monitoring this visit, right?
Right.
You're gonna collect copies of any updates to these things
Mm-hmm.
that you mentioned, okay? Training log updates, everything you're collecting you're scanning it and you're putting it in a trial master file. Or you're emailing it to an in-house CRA and they're sending it to a trial master file.
Oh, so the in-house CRA is what does all those.
That's right,
Right.
that's right. And you know what a trial master file is, right? You guys know?
Yeah, that's what contains all the
Document on the sponsor level.
on that sponsor
Yes,
level.
very good. So what's the difference between a TMF and a reg binder?
Oh.
The reg binder, the sponsor mails that to the site,
To the
so they
site.
keep that. And now the TMF is what you scan to the
So
on the
back to
sponsor
the,
level.
So TMF is basically every site's reg binder.
yeah, it's a
Oh,
copy
yeah.
of the reg binder
That's
at the
right,
site.
that's right. So that's what in-house CRA does.
Each site.
One of the things, they manage that. They help maybe with CRA admin support. Like this site needs training, they'll give reminders. You know, this site's missing CV for Dance Farah, and they're also missing GCP training for Dance Farah. So they'll tell the CRA, hey, your next visit, this is what we do.
So wait, so do they do, like, is this similar as a CTA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the confusing part, is that all these things, the different companies have a different name.
Okay, 'cause I'm like,
This way you just gotta know the basic, like, concept, the book. That's all it is. It's no matter what, you can call the things anything you want, but it's
what you're doing. Okay.
yeah, these things don't change no matter what the job is called. Anything else? You guys confident or no?
I'm thinking.
I think I'm confident.
Yeah?
But I still have other options too.
And now you're gonna do this, you need
I
to do
will-
this stuff with Chris.
Yeah, I'll be there on Thursday.
Okay.
I have a question. Is there something called patient profiling?
Pre-screening.
Okay, so I don't know what it is, but they said it's an easier way to do the SDV.
Patient profile.
I don't know if it's patient profiling or something, patient profile analysis or something. But they say the system puts everything in.
Oh,
it's
you're
easy,
talking
it's a
about like
quick tool.
EHRs, electronic health record, and the only thing I can think of is like a retrospective chart review study, where they have the EHRs of the patients. They design a study to look in the past to see what happened, what drugs they were taking, what the outcomes were.
That's when it puts literally all the patients you're about to go see, like before you go on site. It makes it easier for you to look and see, okay, which ones have been screened, which one have.
Oh, that's a CPM Mouse, clinical trial management system.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's another system that shows you, this is for the big studies, you know, like when there's a lot of patients enrolled in CRA, maybe you have like 5 or 6 or even, you know, more sites. It tracks it for you. It's like it shows you the study. It's like the eSource kind of, but more specific to what a CRA is gonna look for.
So I think, does that sounds familiar to me, like customer profiling? Like if you have like thousands or bunch of samples,
Yeah.
and you want to know, instead of spending time, what do you call it, checking stuffs, you want to make sure that you have a streamlined base of patients. You need to look into their details at the site. So
Yeah, it will highlight what you need to look at.
exactly. So with that, it's trying to highlight and reduce your scope of
Yeah.
search.
It's trying to make you expendable
Yeah.
as a CRA.
So that with that you can maximize your output
Yeah.
at
The
the
system is
single
already
visit.
doing
We do that now. We design the system.
Maybe out of
It's gonna make your life easier.
And the
Blessing's
next thing
gonna
you
say,
know,
"Ooh,
it's
that's great. I want that." And then they say, "Oh, now we came out with another system where you don't really have to go." That's what they're doing, but it's gonna take
this is crazy.
it's gonna take a decade to play out if it does. I think, because I'm optimistic, that strategy is gonna create more studies that we wouldn't have had anyways, with like AI and very little human, a little bit of human involvement, but then we're still gonna have these more of the traditional trials. I think it's just gonna increase the amount of studies,
No.
like maybe even like triple it. So that's optimistic view.
Right.
Chris has a pessimistic one.
Mm.
He thinks they'll replace the sites too. And if you go to these conferences, they want to replace the sites as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what would they be doing this time? The trial.
Virtual.
Wow.
Direct in the patient's home. With one PI on Skype in each state.
Oh my
Oh.
God, they need to stop.
I know. They're already doing it, they're not stopping. But like I said, I'm seeing that. I talked to a few I can't mention on the camera. But they're increasing the studies that they're doing. Because it's not stopping the regular trials.
Yeah.
At least so far. But and they still need people for that, but not as many.